자, 여러분 반갑습니다. So this is November, the third class. So we are now started the week 10 class. So I'd like to get started by showing an outline, our class outline. So we are going to have 4 modules here. The first module is class review and preview. So what is the major topic for this class and maybe the next class? I would say that the major topic for next class and for the next 2 weeks will be about the Bible translation. So especially I'd like to focus on the King James Bible, then English language. So you might wonder why King James Bible that was written around only the 17th century. It's about 400 years ago. I would say that is the Bible was translated in, I would say it's the early modern English. So how such a Bible is an ancient text, it looks like an ancient text, it sounds too ancient to be part of contemporary English. I would say, so we are going to discuss why the King James Bible is still part of English, contemporary English. So in doing this, I pick it up because there was an interesting connection between some English idioms and the many idioms they come from the King James Bible. So this is what our textbook author, the David Crystal, found out. So we are going to look at what are the example English idioms that come from King James Bible. So I have prepared the PowerPoint about this. So these are the examples. So fly in the ornament. So this is what the King James Bible they translated in the Bible that is the Ecclesiastes, 전도서. As you know, the Ecclesiastes is written by the King of Jerusalem, son of David, Solomon. So there will be, it will be very interesting for us how something like very ancient Bible expression can be a source of English idioms in contemporary world. The second question is why? Why is it still used? Why is it still affecting the modern idioms in the current contemporary world, English-speaking world? So why? And also the second question is how many Bible expressions can be a source of English idioms? Then we can compare. Then in doing this, then you will find out that this is something like some process of language. Language is something dynamic. Language is like a living organism. So it all depends on its speakers. Language itself can grow. It can be language itself is a kind of democratic. So it is open-minded, and language can be fashionable. And the speakers of language can play with it, and language can be adapted, and language can keep changing. So that's why the translators have some difficulties in translating some English idioms. So as we have always talked, it's very difficult to establish equivalent when you translate from English to Korean at the meaning for meaning translation. So we had an example is a metaphor. English is rich in metaphor. English, they use a lot of metaphor to visualize the image. So anyway, this is a major topic for the next two classes. And also we are trying to follow the Bible trail. English, as I've said, English, what is the history? English is a 1,500-year history. Why? Because English history started with the arrival of Anglo-Saxon people in British Island. That was about 500 AD. Then how about Bible? Bible translation goes further back into the history. The people usually say Bible is usually about 5,000-year history. So you can guess that, wow, the Bible has much broader perspective when it comes to language and translation. That's why we are trying to follow the Bible translation trail. So and also I'd like to make class review. So next class, I would say the highlight of last class was your practice about our text. What was the text? Do you remember? The kindness. Kindness of strangers. So in this regard, I was looking through your handout output, and I found that it was very interesting. There were many, so we have about 20 students here, and they have different writing style, and they have different points. Anyway, it was interesting. So there was some mistake, so I didn't lecture this background. So maybe today I'm going to provide the background for our translation practice. So as you know, there are two texts. One is about the demographic issue. So I'm going to spend about 5 or 10 minutes about what are the major issue background information. And second text, then I will spend about 5 or 10 minutes in background lecture about demographic issue so that I can help you in translate the first text. The first text가 뭐죠? That was 70억째 어린인가? 그죠? That 70억째 아기가 출생했다. Then we're moving on to step 2. I will give 5 or 10 minutes for individual students to translate. I mean, you don't have to translate sight translation. Sight translation is something like oral, that is oral interpretation of written text. Yeah? But you don't have to translate all of the text. I'd like you to summarize. What are the major points? So you can translate the summary translation. I would say that is AP summary translation. So summary translation, if you're Korean students, it will be AP summary translation. If you are international students, it will be something like PP paraphrase or AA paraphrase. If Baker, her native language is English, so in your case, you are AA paraphrase. So we have Marta, your mother tongue is Spanish, so in your case, it will be the BA paraphrase. BA paraphrase. BA paraphrase or AP paraphrase. So whatever you like, then you can paraphrase it. Then, so I'd like to remind you, you have a team member. We have a new team member here. So here we are moving in the 나경원, Baker, Kim Seung-tae, you are team 1. And 박예진, 김준환, 정성원, you are team 2. 마흔열, 김주영, 훈인 다와인, you are team 3. So we will sit together with your team members. So what is that for? What is it meant to be? You should coordinate. I would say that is the team coordination. So team coordination follows the individual translation. For example, that 나경원, Baker, and Kim Seung-tae work together. So Kim Seung-tae is after wow, this is my version of translation. Then 나경원 said, wow, this is a good point. I didn't find it. I'm going to add your point. Or the Seung-tae said, wow, this is the point that I made a mistake. I think you are the correct one. I'm going to change it. This is editing process, peer review process. After doing that I invite volunteer 3 or 4 students for the presentation. Then module 3, we will follow the same process when you are doing the second translation text, that is MDish. And then after that we have another PowerPoint file that is about the translation theory. So last class we covered up to maybe here, 13 slide page. Then we will continue with the translation theory. Actually, this has already been we have already dealt through the week 1 and week 2, 3, but at that time that I just talked without showing the PowerPoint. So I'm going to repeat what I have already done, so that making sure that you get it clearly. So that's it. This is our class outline. So let's get started with our review. So next class was about the kindness, the strangers. Then I found that the best student, I would say, that among the Korean students, the best translator of this text is Nagyong. Congratulations, Nagyong. Then I will let him to read his translated text, and then you will find out why Nagyong deserves the top spot for the last class's translation practice. So anyway, I was quite impressed by this output because at that time I didn't give any background information. I just gave it and do it. And I just have the time limit on just for 10 minutes. Then if you have produced such an output, this is exceptionally amazing. So if you feel that, wow, I didn't do that much, don't be disappointed, don't be stressful. So this is, please remember, we are running a game, we are running a race. Even if last time you didn't do well, you don't have to be stressful. We haven't yet started, and that is a start point, and we are going ahead. And another excuse you can have is that I didn't give any background information. That could be one excuse. Anyway, the reason that I like his translation is he captured most of the keywords of the original text. For example, the 배수구, the sink. He said the city is like a sink. What is the sink? It's kind of waste. It's kind of 부패, corruption, 타락 이런 뜻이에요. 그러니까 배수구는 is where you throw out the waste. City is like a sink. Then you must catch. Wow, city is something negative image구나. And also he said the 개성이 있다. 도시 has the character. 그리고 he also picked up the details to support it. For example, what is the example kind of activities that you can do for the strangers? That is helping to retrieve dropped things and how to help the injured people. He didn't miss some details to support the main point. And also he used keywords like 이타성, that is kind of altruism. So it doesn't have, in the original text, it doesn't have words, then he made his own word. And also, what are the most important factors? And then he added 역설적으로, ironically. So you may feel there are more people and they may look like to be more kind, they are more likely to be kind, but ironically or paradoxically. This is something he added, just this is a connecting word he used. So that combined to different information between sentences. And also 책임감을 분산시켜 느끼게 되는 거. This is his own word, 분산시켜서 느낀다. What does it mean? So the diffused means so they are not so responsible for the fate of other people, strangers. So these are the example of very good paraphrase. And also when it comes BP paraphrase, I would say the 4 internet students, they do almost a very good job. But I would take an example of Marta Ildan Vento. This is among one of the best. Would you please come over and read your paraphrase? What is unique about her writing is she got the main message of the text, and he translated it in a language that is easier to understand. He simplified the ideas. So anyway, I'm going to give you back I'm going to give you back your last class handout. If you don't have to feel disappointed if you get a lower grade than you had expected, because think it as a game. We have another race. You can reverse the game. Don't get stressful. I'd like you enjoy it and have fun it. So this wraps up the module 1 and the module 2 that I will give you the background information of our first translation text. Okay, let's get started our class module 2. So this is translation practice. So the first text will be the 세계 인구 70억 도파하다. The world population exceeding the marks or the world population marks 7 billion people. So we are doing this in a little bit different procedure. So as I already explained, that I will give background information about the demography. So the Korean students, you have two tasks. One is a summary paraphrase. That means that you are writing using different expressions from Korean to Korean. And the next task is A-B summary translation. So you can get the main idea and you just translate only the main message of this text. And if you are the international students, that I already gave that the translated text of this text. So you can AA or AB paraphrase. So let's talk about demography. What is demography? 인구학? Actually, that is about statistics. 통계학이에요, demography. This is study demography. Demography, that is the 통계학, statistics about what? It is about the population size, or what is the population structure, and what is the population distribution, and what is about, so this is about it. For example, the demography is something like this. So for example, we can divide it into sections. This is male population, this is the female population. And also you can divide, this is the population of the number of babies, number of children between age, and you can divide age 9 to 10, and this is 10 to 15, and this is people aged over 65. This is some visual image about demography. Then, what are the factors that affect demography? There are three things. This is a demography 인구학. There are three factors that affect demography. That one is aging. 노령화. The other is 출산율. What is the 출산율? Fertility. Then what is another one? Migration. So migration is you could be moving from one country to another country. Or migration can be also people moving from country to city. So these are all the three factors. And what are the aging means? There are two kinds of society. One is aging. So aging means Korea is rapidly aging, Germany is rapidly aging, Japan is already aged. But would say that India is dynamic. India is one of the youngest population. This is talking about aging. And what is the topic? In our test, we are talking about in it was about about 20 or 16 years ago. So it's interesting to find that 6 billion baby was born. And 2011, there was 70 billion baby was born. Then they guess about there will be 10 billion baby will be born in the next decade. These are interesting numbers here. Why? It was 1999, was 6 years. 6 billion baby was born. He was born in Bosnia. So at that time, what was the reaction? Oh, wow, that was a matter of a celebration. Because Pope went there and celebrated his birth, and he took him in his arm, and that was a matter of congratulation. Then there is a different fate facing for another baby who was born as a 7 billionth baby. So what was the reaction? No congratulation, no celebration. Why? Because his fate is different from the baby who was born in 6 billion. His fate is not so great. The life perspective looks dark for the new baby. Yeah. So the topic is here. By the end of this century, there will be about 10 billion. That means we will have 3 billion babies will be born from 2011 to the end of the century. The problem is the fate of 3 billion babies that will be born from now to the end of the century. The topic is where they will be born. Where they will be born. So he's talking about 2 things. In demography, there are 2 major factors that affect demography. One is fertility, 출산율. Fertility is very different between advanced countries and less developed countries. So what does it mean? 출산율. For example, the advanced countries, in most cases, the fertility rate, 출산율, is getting lower and lower. But for example, European, what is fertility rate? Fertility rate is the number of babies for a woman who can bear and give rise during her childbearing age. And the European French lady, they didn't give much. They don't bore many babies, and also there is low fertility here. Fertility is low. For example, in Korea, Japan, and China, they have only 1 or 2 child. Then how about less developed countries like Nigeria and Bangladesh? They tend to be poor. That means the babies in these less developed countries, they are least likely to receive education. So when you are uneducated, your life prospect is not so bright. And the major point is that most of these babies, they will be born. They will be born in advanced countries like Europe or France, the United States or Korea or Japan, China, no. Most of these babies are likely to be born in these less developed countries, like Bangladesh and Nigeria. So the writer asked the question, what is the fate? What is the life perspective of these to-be-born babies, 3 billion to-be-born babies? They can't afford to get the proper education, and maybe they can be trapped. They can be caught with the trap of poverty. Maybe they are more likely to be involved with the violence and the crime. So this is what the first text is about. So that's my background information about our first text. So now your turn to walk individually. So I will give 5 or 7 minutes for individual students to summarize it, just to get the main, just to read this text, and you can paraphrase first. Then I will give another 5 minutes so that you can get the main message and translate it into Korean if you're Korean students, and translate it into your mother tongue if you are the international students. I will give 10 minutes doing this. Then after doing this, please move your place to which your team belongs. Then you will be coordinating. your translation output. Oh, okay, let's get started with your individual work. I will give 10 minutes.